Imagine showing up for a routine night shift and helping trigger one of the worst disasters in human history. It's April 26, 1986, at the Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant in Soviet Ukraine. Nearby sits the young city of Pripyat, built for plant workers and their families. Clean streets, schools, parks, and optimism everywhere. It looked like the future. That future was about to explode. Operators at Reactor 4 were preparing for a safety test. They wanted to know if the reactor's turbine could briefly power emergency systems during a blackout before backup generators started. Simple in theory, dangerous in practice. To run the test, power had to be lowered and some safety systems were disabled. Then delays pushed the experiment late into the night. The crew was tired, rushed, and dealing with an unstable reactor. Power dropped too low. Operators tried to recover it by pulling out too many control rods. That made the reactor even more unstable. At 1:23 a.m., the test began. Seconds later, reactor power surged out of control. The emergency shutdown button was pressed. The move meant to save everything. Instead, a design flaw in the RBMK reactor made it worse. Two explosions ripped through Reactor 4. The massive lid blew apart. Burning graphite and radioactive debris shot into the air. Fires broke out across the plant. The reactor core was now open to the sky, and the danger was invisible. Radioactive particles drifted into the atmosphere and began spreading across Europe. Inside the control room, some supervisors refused to believe the reactor had exploded. It seemed impossible. Reality disagreed. Workers sent outside found rubble, twisted steel, and glowing chunks of reactor material scattered around the site. Some picked them up with bare hands, not knowing they were receiving lethal doses of radiation. Meanwhile, life in Pripyat continued. Children played outside. People went fishing. Families slept with windows open while radioactive dust settled over the city. Then came the firefighters. Local crews rushed in thinking they were fighting a normal industrial fire. Many had no protective gear and no warning about radiation. They climbed roofs, battled flames, and handled burning debris by hand. Several later died from acute radiation sickness. Their bravery likely prevented an even worse disaster. More than a day later, authorities finally ordered the evacuation of Pripyat. Residents were told to bring documents and essentials. They'd be gone only a few days, they were told. Most never returned. Thousands boarded buses, leaving homes, pets, photos, and entire lives behind. The city became a frozen time capsule. To contain the disaster, the Soviet Union mobilized hundreds of thousands of soldiers, engineers, miners, and workers known as liquidators. Helicopters dropped sand, lead, and boron into the burning reactor. Robots were sent to clear radioactive debris, but radiation destroyed many of them. So humans took their place. Workers ran onto deadly rooftops for seconds at a time, shoveling debris away before sprinting back to safety. Imagine having a job so dangerous it came with a stopwatch. The world learned the truth when radiation alarms went off in Sweden. At first, officials thought their own plant was leaking. It wasn't. The contamination had come from Chernobyl. Only then did the Soviet government publicly admit the accident. The long-term toll is still debated, but the effects were massive. Immediate deaths were followed by illnesses, evacuations, and increased thyroid cancer cases, especially among children exposed to radioactive iodine. A large exclusion zone remains around the site today. Yet Chernobyl's legacy is bigger than radiation. It exposed the dangers of secrecy, poor design, and arrogance. It also revealed extraordinary courage from ordinary people who stepped into hell to save others. A concrete shelter was built over Reactor 4, later replaced by a giant steel structure to contain the remains. Even now, Chernobyl has to be managed. Because some disasters don't end when the fire goes out. They echo for generations. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more moments from history that changed the world forever.